It's, oh, do you have two screens up?
Yeah.
It's over there.
Can you hear it now? Yeah, gotcha. Sounds good. I'll just testing it out. I want to see how it works.
Yeah, we can hear you, Scott.
Okay.
Who's that?
It's Daniel.
Okay, Daniel, how you doing?
Good. Did you click your webcam?
Oh, I gotta do that too?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna, well, all right, we'll leave it. Hey, so for all the board, I'll say this again, but for all the board members, you should keep your system on mute unless you want to speak, except for Scott as the chair.
Okay.
Because there'll be a lot of background noise if everyone keeps their mics on. I'm gonna do the same unless I need to speak or something.
Daniel, you know that?
I'm sorry, what?
You're not on here, right?
No, I'm not, because I'm sharing my screen, so.
Okay.
Can you see the screen? The agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's going to record. That and your voices. The videos are not going to record. Your stream link is in GChat.
Oops. Gosh. There we go. So I'm just trying to make everything fit in this box here. There we go.
Hey, what's GChat? Oh.
Yeah, so on Gmail, the instant messaging thing.
So see the chat up there.
Oh my gosh.
Now these are people talking. I can't sit there for 3-4 hours per hour.
Do you want me to just email you the link real quick?
Yeah, I don't see where. Oh, hang on. Ah, okay, gotcha. Now I got you.
Excellent.
I didn't have you before, too. I just didn't.
Is that
From what I understand, everyone has indicated that they are going to make it, but we'll see. We probably will not start right at 4:30 with people having to log in and try to figure things out. So we'll see. But I mean, at some point, as soon as we have a quorum, we should at least start. So, but yeah, in terms of the new person being able to call in, we'd like to make sure that happens. But I'm not sure how that's going to work if he doesn't have the login. I'm not sure how it's going to identify him if he doesn't go through the video system. No, I sent him all the instructions, but he is not. I guess he's not very tech savvy, so he said he'll try, but most likely he'll call in.
I see. Okay. I'll do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chang, you know how to record, right?
Yeah, the little button that says record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just making sure, man.
Mute this again.
So see next to your name, I'll mute you. Oh, you're muted.
It's a heck of a delay.
This the stream is picking up all the audio though, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. And we can trim it later on before it goes up? Okay.
So, Mr. Chang, after the public session, no one should be able to.
Yeah, but we'll still keep it on here, live on here, and then we'll go to, we'll just suspend it. And then they'll have a separate meeting that, you won't be a part of. So I'm going to turn off the live stream too when the closed session goes. Hey, to do the live stream, you have to actually. Okay, here. Yeah, who's that? Yes. Someone said hello.
Yeah. You can ask who's caller number 2. Oh, that person is here. There's a new caller.
Yeah, hi. Who's this? Oh, hey, Ken. Yes, sir. I can hear you fine.
Was there a meeting earlier, or Beatrice said something? I didn't understand that one.
No, Ken. So what's going to happen is after the open session, to go to closed session, you're going to have to go to a different call-in and different login. So she sent an email with that. That's only for the closed session.
Okay, that's
Yes, you'll hang up. You're only appearing by phone, right? You're not on the website?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you'll have to, and I'll explain this when everyone else is here. So Beatrice is here. Brian is just logged in. Jeff is logged in. Scott is here. Okay. I can see you, Brian. Jeff, on the top right of the main panel, you should see an icon for a webcam.
Right. Yeah, I clicked it. I didn't see myself in the right panel, but I don't see myself in the...
It has limited on. Yeah, it says you're not webcam yet. Okay, there you are. How come I can't hear them now on this?
No, well, we turned off the volume on the Promethean.
Right, it was basically screaming into your computer mic and causing an incredible amount of feedback on this end.
Okay, so how can I hear?
Oh, you want to hear through?
For the
YouTube stream, right?
Because I have to speak too at some point.
Right, so we can hear you.
But I can't hear anybody else.
Oh, because the audio is directly to the...
Oh, that was okay. My bad. Okay, well, we're gonna go through.
Your headphones are plugged into this, yes? Perfect. So,
Yeah.
okay. And then that's Commandify. Just take over here for 1 second.
Yeah, whatever you need.
Okay, so are you able to hear?
No one's saying anything. Can anyone hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Hear you.
One more time.
Can I have someone say something?
You hear that okay?
I can hear it earlier.
Did you hear that okay?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, great. Okay, well.
This
Actually, nice.
working? No. You have my face on there? You want to see me? You want to see your face? That'd be great.
So I have to download the app? Right? Yeah. Hang on. Perfect. And then just, excellent.
I can hear it through here. I can hear somebody through here now.
Perfect. Okay, that's exactly what we want.
Okay. Hey, if you just entered the meeting, can you please identify yourself? Okay. Hey, John, one more time. Can you say your name? Okay, I got you. Okay. I just had to figure out which one
I'm sorry?
you
I have
were.
to change this to computer audio?
Yes.
Okay, I have 3 other callers. Can you please identify yourself?
So we do yeah, computer audio as well. I can't. Yeah, it's computer prompting. So, so Shane, can you say something?
Hi, yeah. If you're on the phone,
You can, yeah, just turn it on.
can you please identify yourself? Yeah, I'm getting Ryan. I'm getting echo. I'm hearing myself talking, starting to loop.
Yeah, so that's not. Where's that?
I think it's from here because we have the volume here too.
No, it's something else. The right line should be on.
See if you hear yourself.
Say something?
Better? Say something then.
Okay, so far we have Beatrice Chen, Brian Archibald, Darren Ryburn, Greg Basile, Jeff Davis, Kenny Lee, and Scott Silverstein.
Yeah, they should be. So that's standard. The issue is going to be echo. So if somebody's might hit it down to their speakers, so that their mic is picking it up. Is it AIT?
And John Arndt from Icon is also on. Okay, there's definitely an echo.
You have an echo.
No, it's not you. I'm hearing myself.
On that laptop, you have open monitor?
Yeah, so it's not us. Like, we don't have any sound playing out loud. We don't have any echoes coming through. Someone is.
I'm not on here. It's not on there.
Take it off, let's see what you
Okay. Is it still echoing? Before, was my voice echoing on your systems?
It was before, it's not now. Well, now mine is.
How do I solve this? Okay, this is why I wanted it set up beforehand, so we can test it all out.
Do it fine. We can hear you. And this has got a good mic. This has got a gain there.
This is?
No.
Oh, this one?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's not gonna echo? Okay, all right.
Yeah, well, you can hear it on the mic.
Where's the volume on this?
Volume?
Are we good?
Muted. Unmuted.
Okay, Mr. Perez, are you here?
Yes, I am.
So we have these guys on the computer screen.
Hello?
Yes, I heard you, Mr. Perez.
Okay.
We have Perez, Darren, and who else? And Kenny.
Daniel, is there a way we could, I only get 6 people on my screen at once. Can I get more people on here?
Yes, if you drag the thing.
I think there's only 6 people that are actually, have their, video on.
That's correct.
Perez Darren doesn't have a video. John doesn't have a video. John doesn't have a video. Kenny doesn't have a video.
Okay.
Oh, now Darren's got one. There he is.
Okay, so now you can see 7.
Okay, so the echo's coming in.
Okay, we're good.
Jan?
Yeah.
Scott, where are you filming this? With the big shadow in the background there.
Oh, sorry. Right, be right back.
I think your echo was coming from the husband's computer. When he goes in.
Okay, so before we start, can I please remind the board members that when you are not speaking, if you can mute your microphones so that there are no background noises coming in. Also, for the callers who are appearing, if you are not a board member, your microphones will be muted except during the public comment section. If you want to speak on a non-agenda item, you may do so during the public comment section. If you want to speak on a specific agenda item, please speak during the public comments and identify which agenda item you want to speak on, and it will be noted. Other than that, I believe we are ready to start the meeting.
No, could you hold on 1 second,
Sure.
please? Okay, could you still see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go like this, and then I have to change back because there's something on my screen that it's not printing. So I'm gonna go like this and move ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ready to start.
Okay, go ahead. It's recording.
Okay,
This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the El Camino Real Charter High School Board of Directors meeting. Date is March 26, 2020. The time right now is 4:37. We're obviously meeting under extraordinary conditions, and this is a remote feed from all the board members as permitted by the Governor of California modifying the Brown Act under these extraordinary conditions. So we do thank you all for attending, and for those that are watching us, we appreciate it. Okay, first on the agenda, I'm going to call the meeting. The meeting is in order at this point. There we go. And Mr. Chang, please record the attendance and guests.
Beatrice Chen,
Here.
Brian Archibald,
Here.
Darren Ryburn, Mr. Ryburn, your microphone is not on, even though your video is. There you are.
How about now?
Yes. Gregor Basile,
Here.
Jeff Davis,
Here.
Kenneth Lee,
Here.
Scott Silverstein,
Here.
Stephen Kofal. Maybe he's one of the callers. Hang on. Mr. Kofal, are you here? And no appearance by Mr. Kofal this time.
Daniel, you're gonna try to find Mr. Koppel.
I can try to contact him, but we should start and then hopefully he'll show up.
Okay. All right, Pledge of Allegiance from Ms. Chen.
Please stand. Or standing. Okay. Put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. At this point, I want to suspend this meeting and move into a special meeting. We have a new board member that needs to be brought on, Mr. John Perez, who is with us right now on the phone, I believe. Yes, I'm here. Okay. Mr. Perez, congratulations. You've been appointed by the teachers as a member.
No, by LAUSD.
LAUSD member. And we welcome you to the board. Do you have any comments before I bring it to the board?
Well, let me give you just a little background.
Please.
Computer-wise,
I was 36 years with the Los Angeles Unified School District. I was a social studies teacher at Roosevelt High School. I was active in the teachers union, and I retired
If you open up your email,
in 2005, having been president of United Teachers Los Angeles. Most recently, in terms of education, I was for 2.5 years, from November of 2014 to around June of 2017. I was president of the board of the Montague Academy for the Arts and Sciences, a charter school in Pacoima, California.
Well, we welcome you on board. I want to bring this forward. Motion to bring Mr. Perez as a LA Unified member on this board.
I'll make that motion.
A motion from Mr. Archibald. Have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
And a second from Mr. I'm not sure.
That's Jeff.
Yeah, okay. We have a second. All in favor? Please say aye.
Has to be by roll call.
Aye.
Has to be by roll call.
Roll call? I'm going to go to roll call on everything. Sorry. Roll call vote. Mr. Chang.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Scott Silverstein,
Yes.
Beatrice Chen,
Yes.
Brian Archibald,
Yes.
Darren Ryburn,
Yes.
Gregor Basile,
Yes.
Jeff Davis,
Yes.
Kenneth Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Kofa, are you here yet?
No, not yet. He's on the phone.
No, okay.
He'll be here in a couple minutes. Just give me the first.
We do have a majority, a unanimous majority, and we welcome you to the board. Unfortunately, under these conditions, but we welcome you to the board nonetheless.
Daniel, does he attend the meeting the regular meeting as a board member?
Yes, so I will note him that he has been installed.
Okay. Do we take roll call again, or we just add him to the roll call now?
I'll just add him.
No, just
Okay.
let it be in the minutes that Mr. Perez is now a board member for ECR CHS as the LA Unified member. I know I'm adjourning the special meeting, going back to the regular meeting scheduled. Thank you for that.
I'll make a motion to adjourn it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning? You say aye.
Aye.
Is it roll call or?
This, for adjourning, we can do by, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Opposed? Abstained? Is that an opposition?
3-2-2.
I think that was
No
Mr.
opposition.
Vasili.
Yes.
No opposition?
It would be.
No, okay.
I vote was aye.
Never opposed an adjournment.
Okay, that, the meeting is adjourned. We're now back,
So it's 4-9-3.
in order of the regular scheduled meeting.
8-9-4.
The public comments
8-9-4.
right now. Mr. Chang,
Sorry, so it's 4-9-4.
how would you wanna,
8-9-4. 6-7-7.
do we have any public comments at this point?
So we have 3 callers who have not been identified. If you would like to speak during public comments or during any of the agenda items, please identify or please say so now.
All right, thanks.
Okay, no
I don't
public
hear anything,
comments.
Daniel. I don't know if you hear it.
Yeah, no public comments.
He's gonna call it.
Okay, having no public comments, on to the executive director update, Mr. Hussey.
All right. First of all, I want to publicly recognize Fernando Delgado, the tech team, the tech committee, the trainers, the instructional coaches, the teachers, the classified staff, the administration, the students, the parents, and the board for their efforts during this pandemic. Not even 2 weeks ago on Friday, March 13th, we held in-class lessons, and by Monday, March 16th, we were engaged in online distance learning. Oops. Sorry about that. I think I started and I didn't have my phone. I want to publicly recognize Fernando Delgado, the tech team, the tech committee, the trainers, the instructional coaches, the teachers, the classified staff, the administration, the students, the parents, and the board for their efforts during this pandemic. Not even 2 weeks ago on Friday, March 13th, we held in-class lessons, and by Monday, March 16th, we were engaged in online distance learning. This did not happen without the vision, collaboration, professional development, and commitment of the collective community of ECR. We need to acknowledge and celebrate the work we have accomplished thus far. Other schools, districts, and board members have inquired about our setup, and when this crisis is over, they have asked us to share our best practices with them. I'm proud to be at a school where everyone involved has stepped up to meet the needs of our students, and equally important, the needs of one another.
No sound.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
I lost him.
Hello?
Okay,
You're coming,
Yeah, yeah.
you're probably coming in through here. I muted this, and you can hear you all over there.
is Mr. Hussey back?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
For the third time. I want to publicly recognize Fernando Delgado, the tech team, the tech committee, the trainers, instructional coaches, the teachers, the classified staff, the administration, the students, the parents, and the board for their efforts during this pandemic. Not even 2 weeks ago on Friday, March 13th, we held in-class lessons, and by Monday, March 16th, we were engaged in online distance learning. This did not happen without the vision, collaboration, professional development, and commitment of the collective community of ECR. We need to acknowledge and celebrate the work that we have accomplished thus far. Other schools, districts, and board members have inquired about our setup, and when this crisis is over, they have asked us to share our best practices with them. I am proud to be at a school where everyone involved has stepped up to meet the needs of our students, and equally important, the needs of one another. I've received and seen many positive messages these past 2 weeks. One being a picture of a student working on home on his school computer. Teachers are being creative in the delivery of their lessons and integrating new apps, technology to enhance student learning. We will continue to listen, innovate, and adjust as we battle this pandemic. So I just wanted to make sure I thanked everybody for all the hard work they've been doing. Next, I just wanted to go over the ADA. I got this from LACO. LACO is LA County School of Education. ADA, used for both the second period and the annual period apportionment, includes a full months, all full school months from July 1st, 2019 to February 29th, 2020. So everything that's happened after February 29th will be averaged in with the ADA that's already been established by the school from July to February. And in lieu of Form J13A, the one we filled out for the fires, the state is working on. Yeah, hold on. Hello?
That was caller 9.
Whoever called 9 is right.
Right, so that was whoever caller 9 was. That was they were
Giving your
me
feedback.
just a second.
I'm still here. All right, can you hear me? Okay. So, in lieu of Form J13A, the CDE is developing a certificate form for COVID-19 closure. They're still working on the development of this form, so we don't have the form yet, but we will be filling out that form instead of the J13A when the time comes to fill out that form. Unfortunately, that's probably the briefest executive director report I'm going to have, but that's what we have right now.
Nothing as far as the safety committee, nothing there. Mr. Hussey, if I could, on the commitment to enroll students, are you still working with LA University on that language?
Yeah, so I mean, since everything happened, it's been quiet as far as moving forward. So we'll wait till we get back into school before we address that again.
Okay, thank you.
Are we including ad hoc committees as well?
Yes, anything?
So the auditor selection committee met 2 days ago, and by unanimous agreement is recommending that we use Chrissy White to do the auditing for the next year with an option for the policy
CHRIS apply?
CHRISY.
Where are they located?
Yes. And I think we're gonna talk about it further in one of the agenda items. There was no tech
Daniel,
committee,
become-
meeting there.
Daniel.
I think we anticipate having a travel committee meeting from one of the emails I received. And Daniel,
Yeah,
you need one?
yeah, but we didn't have any in the last, I think it's enough, no, we didn't have any.
That's correct.
Michelle Lindstrom,
My only comment is at the next board meeting, we need to make sure that we approve the minutes of the special meeting we had a couple of weeks ago, whatever that was, as well as the special meeting we had tonight.
Should we get that in?
For a consent item, I think we're okay if it, as long as it's unanimous.
All in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Go forward, you know.
Item 3 is financials. Review and vote on January 20th and February 20th check register. All of you have that check register in your possession. Or any of your questions filled at this point.
Scott, someone asked a question right before we got on, so I did a little research, so I want to answer that question. So it was regarding the Charles Schwab payments. So there are 4 checks, 1324 to 13249. So the 246 was a payment that was supposed to be made in October, that was made in January. The one in 247 was supposed to be made in September, and it was made in January. And then you had the December payments that were made in January. So all those were Charles Schwab, where our employees were putting their money into a 403B plan, and we were sending a check to Charles Schwab. So where it says deposit and payout probably needs to be deleted, since the school's basically, the employees are taking their money and having us deposit it for them.
Any other questions on the check for the January 2020?
Yes, sorry. I didn't. Okay, Beatrice Chen.
Yes.
Brian Archibald. Darren Ryburn.
Yes.
Gregory Vasile. Jeff Davis.
Yes.
Kenneth Lee.
Yes.
Scott Silverstein.
Yes.
Stephen Kofall.
Yes.
John Perez.
Yes.
Thank you. No, we're doing the.
Scott, you have to do the update first.
I'm sorry?
The financial update, February financial update.
Mic is not working. Mute yourself.
Hello?
No, mute your mic. It's coming up really bad. Okay, Scott, you have to do the financial update first before the second interim.
Yes, that's okay. Yes. So,
It's not that, Mr. Lee. Daniel, tell him it's.
Yeah, it's actually John Arndt from Icon who's doing the presentation.
Test.
So it's not on. Does John have to share his screen? Yes. You're not muted. You're muted.
Test.
He's out there.
Test.
Increase the volume. I can't hear what he's saying. Which one is it?
We reported that as of February. Total expenses is $4 million compared to the $2 million last year. And net income right now is negative $1.2 million compared to February 2019 of negative $1.47 million. And you can see the fund balance is on page 3 of 10, this shows the February 2020 P&L year-to-date compared to the current forecast that we're projecting. And we see that total revenue has been almost exceeded 54%, and total expenses is about 69%. So now, well, generally, February to June is when a lot of revenue starts coming in, the federal money to compensate for all the expenses we had in the year. Page 4 of 10, this is shows the monthly revenue of the fees. You can see LCS Academy, when it comes in, how much is remaining of the $12 million, and the federal revenue, other state revenue.
Hey, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you, instead of saying page 4 of 10, because your presentation did not have page numbers?
Oh, okay, so I am on the year-to-date revenue bar. This is a graphic goes to the side where it shows LCS entitlement, federal revenue, other state revenue, and local revenue. This is the one that's very colorful, has a different color for every month. And this is just showing like every color in a specific month, like how the revenue is circulating coming into the school. And then the next page is the year-to-date expenses. And this just shows certificates. The same, it's a sidebar graph. Certificate salaries, classified salaries, employee benefits, supplies, services and operating expenditures, capital outlays. The reason why capital outlay is so large is because finally we're able to receive the audited depreciation schedule. So we looked at that and we were able to record the depreciation schedule, depreciation as of January. So we did the up through January and then February 2012, and then how much is left. And same thing with employee benefits. Employee benefits was deferred from March to October, and they were paid in November. That's why there's a big jump for employee benefits in November. And why the supplies are so much higher in the beginning of the year because you're thinking in the summer for all the supplies when it gets to that. The next page is the Dr. revenue. This is one that has the table on top. So we're showing the page projected budget current forecast, and then the LCS entitlement was based on 328488, and now we're projecting at 3262.7488. And then federal revenue won't come in until possibly March. And then other state revenue based on the new LEUS Delta rate, and then local revenue, international students, and then pretty much in the same operations as well over the like the ACS. And then also the investment accounts are included in this. Next page is adopted budget versus current forecast comparison. This is expenses. So salaries and benefits, this is based on actual expenditures for 1920 and projected out for the rest of the year, and each employee being broken out. For the 1920 adopted budget, the salaries had ins and outs, and then a 2% increase. Books and supplies, due to the significant amount of prepaid you guys paid last year, this is continuing to increase as the expenses are prorated over the 1920 fiscal year. So there's about 900,000 prepaid expenses, and we've been allocating that each particular month for the last couple months. Services and operations based on the 7 months of operations, and then we projected them out for the rest of the year. And then the depreciation schedule is based on the audit depreciation schedule that we received. This is the balance sheet. This shows where we're at as of February 2020, as of February 2019. So we have total assets of $22 million compared to last year, $20 million. And total liabilities of $50 million compared to last year, $2 million. And a lot of that has to do with the OPEB liability for the actuarial study you guys do for STIRS and PERS and other liabilities we have. And then beginning fund balances and then income or projected to be the ending fund balance.
You're getting
the next slide is the 2019-2020 cash flow projection.
Log out of your Facebook.
And we're projecting ECR ending cash balance as of June 30th to be $6.8 million. And as of February 29th, the days of cash on hand was 50 days. And then the last slide is just my information. If you have any questions, comments, you can always email me. I'm always available. And then you should have all the detail that goes with it as well.
I do have one question.
Whatever.
Yeah, under on the year-to-date expense page, for our booklet, it shows page 41 of 84, but if you can go back a couple of pages, Daniel. Year-to-date expenses at the bottom it says employee benefits health insurance had been deferred from August through October. Why were the health insurance health benefits deferred?
That I do not know. I know when we were doing the financial report, that was something we brought up to the business department, saying, how come for these particular months we're not showing any, which is the 3400 account, the health insurance for certificated classified. And I was told from the business department that those payments were just being deferred until November, and then when November came, they paid it like right in the first week, I believe. So I do not know exactly why they were deferred. I know that we did bring that question up, and we were just told that our question was, why were these missing from the August, September, and October financial statements? And that's what we were told, that they had been deferred up through until November.
And Mr. Hussey, if I could have you look into that, please, as to why the health insurance payments had been deferred from August to October, and if there were any late fees associated with them.
Mr. Roberts?
No, that's it. I'd like to get that addressed. It doesn't have to be addressed today, but I'd like to find out why.
Okay. Any other questions? I've got two questions. How are we handling the exchange students?
So the exchange students right now, that was a report we got from Mr. Hudson, the department taking care of. So right now they're going into what's the deferred revenue account, and then at the end of the year, once all the students have been accounted for, especially with situations like this where the school closed and the exchange students are in there, this is where the administration will have to decide, okay, well, are there going to be refunds? How's that going to work? And so once June comes and the school is finally done, then we will record all that revenue. And we've already put that revenue into the budget, so we know that it's not like the budget's going to increase because of that revenue. But the money is sitting there in deferred revenue. Like I said, until we find out the administration what can happen after the school comes back, if it comes back this fiscal year, what can happen to those kids that paid all that tuition up front. So right now, how much is that tuition? That tuition is, hold on.
So it's not
$7,000 per student. What is on the books right now is about $820,000.
Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, since we're doing the online distance learning, a lot of the kids want to continue so they can earn the credits, so they can get their semester convalidated in their home country. So we haven't had any students ask for any refunds at this point, because we're going to work with the students to make sure they can complete the semester of work.
That's good. Okay. How did you manage to get them all home in time? Was that up to you, or?
No, that's up to the agency. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Right, glad that went smoothly. And just right now, it says here we have days on hand, days cash on hand. We have 50 days cash on hand. I'm assuming that this all guarantees that any funding from the state and federal government will happen in a timely manner.
So sorry, John. We've been receiving our checks monthly, so I don't see a stop to receiving the monthly checks.
I've got a question related to that, which is that's just pure cash. That's ignoring the CDs that we have. Is that correct?
Correct.
Has anybody looked at the schedule of retirement of the CDs to know what that looks like over time?
They're pretty stretched out there.
I think we saw the schedule last meeting, if I recall.
What was that?
Didn't we see a schedule of the retirement of the CDs recently?
We did, but we're not running the school. So I'm asking the people running the school if they're looking at that. That's all.
So Brian, I reached out to our brokerages, and I have not heard back from our consultant. I tried to get onto the website, and I've been told that I cannot get onto the site until our consultant gives us access.
Who's the consultant?
The consultant is,
No, how long have you been waiting for that?
I reached out to him last week. The consultant is Michael Schwartz.
And you've had no reply at all from that?
No reply at all. I reached out to Cetera to try to get the login information. They said they would not release it to me. And I called them twice.
But Cetera will not give you the login information. You're the executive director.
They say I have to go through the consultant.
Oh, again, this Michael Schwartz consultant.
I tell you what, let's deal with this particular issue offline and get it done immediately, because we can't do anything about it on the phone right now. But that can't be. I mean, they have to change their ways. We don't have to change our ways. Why don't we handle that one right after the meeting? Is that all right, Darren?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
Any further reporting? John?
No, not for the February financial report.
Okay, I'd like to move the financial report to a vote, and that is to review to approval of the second interim financial report as presented. Mr. Chang, do I have a motion for that first?
So moved.
Seconded. Who made that motion? I'm sorry.
Steve Kofal.
Steve Kofal. Okay, Steve Kofal. I'd like to put on record that Mr. Kofal has joined this meeting. I don't know when he joined the meeting, but he is currently here. Oh, okay. All right. So Mr. Kofal has been as part of this meeting from the beginning. I have a second from Mr. Basili. Mr. Chang,
Yes.
please take a roll call vote.
Beatrice Chen,
Yes.
Brian Archibald,
Yes.
Darren Ryburn,
Yes.
Gregory Basile,
Yes.
Jeff Davis,
Yes.
Kenneth Lee,
Yes.
Scott Silverstein,
Yes.
Stephen Kofal,
Yes.
John Perez.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unanimous vote, motion carries to accept the second interim financial report as presented. Move on to item 4A, discuss and approve creating a building reserve fund. I brought this forward as an item that I noticed that we don't carry this, and in my industry, which is real estate industry, commercial real estate in particular, that the entities that own these buildings, both by choice and also by demand from the banks, are required to maintain a building fund. That building fund can be used, it is a restricted fund, it can be used for any type of significant repairs that might come up that are on us. It can be used for instance, if we sometime in the near future decide to build a theater or a swimming pool or some other type of facility on site. We have no cash on hand specifically designated towards the facility. And I don't necessarily consider that prudent. I think we should have some cash on hand. I don't have an amount in particular. I'd like to proceed ahead with this, but I want to bring it to the board first. So I have it out now. Any comments?
Well, I do think that's a prudent idea. As we look at our building, we realize that a lot of it was built a very long time ago, and without funds specifically earmarked for that, we may never ever get around to doing anything about it. My only concern would be if that fund was totally locked down and secured, that in the event of some kind of emergency, we wouldn't be able to use it.
Thank you. Other comments?
Explain the purpose again.
Right. You could use it for extraordinary capital expenses that may come up, capital repairs, significant repairs that are not on the lease. That are not to be reimbursed by LA Unified, but that come under our auspices, and we don't have anything set aside for any type of large or further investment, such as a pool or a theater or additional classrooms, which is something that's currently on the table. Where I know Mr. Hussey and I recently met with a group to possibly add classrooms on the site, and this has to be paid somehow. So it's a matter of keeping a reserve fund that can be applied to that type of improvement. And currently, we do not have one. That's the reason for it.
So how much were you thinking?
I don't know, and the problem is I can't give it a good estimate right now because I don't have the financial person in place where I could get that information. And it's generally something that's taken on the front end, out of our operating budget and put aside. And we could have restrictions on it and proceed with it that way. But it's not like we're giving the money away. We're going to keep it on file here.
Well, I'm sure you could get that information, the financial information, because the executive director has access to that. So that's not an issue. On this, I don't think this is an appropriate time to use to make a building fund. I think due to the coronavirus, due to the school situation, I think we should really hold off on this. And this is great to bring it up and discuss it. Let's further discuss it in the next meeting and let's finalize it. I mean, that's an idea and that's a great idea, but right now I just don't see it going forward with it.
I mean, I think it's a good aspirational idea. I think it's forward thinking. I think it's smart to think about those things, but I think there's so many things that we can do with the money we have, and I'm thinking instructionally and all these other things we've talked about in various meetings, but I think it's a great forward thinking. I just don't think the timing's right. I think it's, and the timing may never be right, but I think there'll be a better time than now. But I think there's other things, like I said, instructionally, and just things we've heard from the teachers and things like that at the different board meetings we've had over the last 3 or 4 months that we could probably put our money into that might serve us better in the short term, but I think in the long term, it's a great idea.
Okay, I hear, Ben, do I have a sense this should be tabled?
I think so. I agree with Jeff. I think that there's a lot of other things that are still out there that we should look into, but it is a good idea. It's something that maybe we should consider as far as a capital campaign for the future. Make it a goal, one of our long-term goals that I know that we've talked about, but probably just not at this very moment.
Okay, I'll table it, bring it forward sometime in the future. All right, item 4B, discuss and vote to extend school closure. As you know, last meeting we had was an emergency meeting with limitations on the closure of the school, and we're obviously going to exceed those, so we need to modify the closure agreement that we have right now with administration. So the action item is a motion to authorize the executive director to extend school closure until such time as the governor releases the stay-at-home order up through the end of the academic school year.
Is that the
that's
extent of what the motion is?
I was gonna say, if that's the extent of the motion, I'll second that, Scott, if you're making that motion.
So, can I just add something? So, this, the stay-at-home order right now doesn't really have a definite time, and I think, as you know, in our community, if LAUSD decides to extend their school closure, even if the governor even though the governor's order may expire, I think we need to maybe adjust the language to include that we would follow LAUSD as well.
Well, that sounds familiar.
So many of the local districts right now are out until May 1. The one that I work in is out until May 1. Until further notice. To return on May 4th. Who knows? None of us know if that's going to happen, but I don't know. That's what a lot of districts have done. If you look online, you'll see May 1st as a date, and then May 4th as a coming back. But that's again until further notice, because that will likely change also.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with David, since that's what I had asked at the special board meeting, that we just align ourselves with what LAUSD is doing.
I would agree with that.
So currently,
then any other comments?
Currently, LAUSD is out until May 1st.
So then what this board would be doing is giving you the opportunity, the right to close the school until May 1st. Thereafter, any additional days would have to come by the board. Is that what you understand?
That's your recommendation. My recommendation is still to just follow along with LAUSD. That way, if they change it to June 1st, we automatically move it to June 1st, etc.
Right, that's what I would request as well.
I think so.
I'm in concurrence with Brian on that.
Makes it a lot easier on parents, with some of the elementaries, some of the feeders, the elementaries, and and all that.
All right, so the motion is modified then to that we are going to authorize Mr. Hussey to call the school, whether it's canceled or reopened, in the same manner that LA Unified sets their dates. Is that what we're authorizing him? I assume at this point. Then I would like to call for a roll call vote.
I second that motion.
Sorry, who moved the motion? I think it's a new motion.
Didn't you just move it? Mr. Ryburn moved it, I seconded it. How's that?
Okay, Mr. Ryburn moves, Mr. Archibald second. Mr. Chang, please call a roll call vote.
Okay, so just so we're clear, the motion is to authorize the executive director to extend the school closure dates to align with LAUSD's school closure dates. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Beatrice Chen?
Yes.
Brian Archibald?
Yes.
Darren Ryburn?
Yes.
Gregory Basile?
Yes.
Jeff Davis?
Yes.
Kenneth Lee?
Yes.
Scott Silverstein?
Yes.
Stephen Kofall?
Yes.
And John Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Hussey, you have the board's authority to do what's needed.
Thank you. We'll be sending out an email right now.
Thank you. All right, at this point, wait. Discussion.
Governance.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to go to item 5A, discuss and vote on the auditor. Mr. Shank.
Actually, I'll turn it over to Mr. Archibald as the chair of the audit committee.
So the audit committee recommended that we go with Christy White, CPA, her company. We reviewed 3 proposals. We sent out, I think Mr. Chang sent that out to 6 auditing companies, auditors. We got back 3 proposals. One of them was Chrissy White. One of them was CLA, who we've been using the last few years, and the last one was with Bailey. And after reviewing, the committee recommended unanimously to the board that we go with the Christy White proposal for 1 year with an option thereafter, which was how their proposal was laid out. I believe Mr. Lambert, you have questions about that?
Yeah, I'm assuming the option is our option.
Correct.
Yes.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, Brian, you answered it on the 3 proposals that were sent in. I was just curious why San Diego and not a little bit local, but that's fine. You answered it.
I just wanted to point out that they also have done the audit for Pacific Palisades, so they do work with local schools.
They work with a lot of districts.
And what was the cost differential between, what was the spread pretty much between the respondees?
Total spread was around 6,100. This proposal was for the first year. This is the only proposal that we got a 3-year numbers on. This one, the first year was potentially a couple of $100 higher than CLA. I need to confirm one thing on that proposal. It actually might be less overall now that I think about it. Let me look at one quick thing. Where's that? Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, for that. Yeah, it's about. Sorry, about $550 higher, all in, including the tax prep. So this one, the amount is, for the first year, again, if we do the taxes as part of it, is a little over $19,100 approximately. The CLA was a few $100s less than that, and the Bailey was 5,000 or 6,000 more than that.
All right, do you have any other questions from the board?
One last thing, I did verify as part of this prior to our meeting that none of the 3 parties had any known relationship with anybody at the school or on the board.
Thank you. What was the name of the company again? Christy
White.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion to vote for the auditor. The motion is to vote for the auditor. Sorry?
So moved.
Okay, let me read this quickly. The motion to approve the audit company's identity of Christy White, Inc., to conduct the audit for the year ending June 30, 2020. Have a second. I have a movement. Mr. Basili, do you still move that motion?
Yes.
This is a 1 year with a 2-year option as part of that, per the proposal that they sent forth, and I second that motion.
I have a second from Mr. Archibald. Mr. Archibald, one question on that. On the option period, on the option audits, was the pricing already worked out, or is that to be determined?
In this proposal, it was worked out. This was the only one that had that worked out.
Okay.
And I can tell you it goes up a little, like $350 a year.
Okay. All right. So I have a moved by who moved that?
Mr. Basile moved.
Mr. Basile, yeah, second from Mr. Archibald. All in favor of accepting the motion as moved, please say aye.
By roll call.
Sorry, Mr. Chang. Aye. Mr. Chang.
Okay. Beatrice Chen,
Yes.
Brian Archibald,
Yes.
Darren Ryber,
Yes.
Gregory Basile,
Yes.
Jeff Davis,
Yes.
Kenneth Lee,
Yes.
Scott Silverstein,
Yes.
Stephen Colfall,
Yes.
and John Perez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Seeing a unanimous vote on that, that motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, Mr. Chang, discuss the upcoming board elections.
So there are 3 positions coming up, 3 terms that are ending on June 30th of this year. The 2 certificated representative positions, which are currently held by Mr. Kofal and Mr. Basile, and the parent representative position currently held by Dr. Jeff Davis. As I'm sure the board will recall, Dr. Davis took over an existing term, and so that term was scheduled to end June 30th, so he would step into those shoes. So with the certificated representative positions are elected by our teachers, by the El Camino teachers, and the parent representative position is elected by the parents and guardians of current students. My proposal, when I wrote this proposal, school was still in session, so I'm not sure how the timing will work, but I think we can make it work. We'd open the positions as early as tomorrow, which is March 27th, but that may be delayed until Monday just because we don't have the same staff. But we will try to advertise the positions starting tomorrow by news. It will be in an email blast. We will advertise it on the school website, and we will also have it available by newsletter. Well, maybe not by newsletter, but it'll be included in the next newsletter, which is going out on Sunday as well. Applications can remain open until Friday, April 24th, so that's just about a month for applications to be accepted. Candidates will be invited to...
Enabled video skills that can do that.
Sorry.
Go to the Alexa app to manage your video skills and devices.
Sorry. Candidates will be invited to attend the board meeting of April 23rd. We will work with UTLA and the Friends of ECR to schedule dates for meet and greet with the different constituencies so that they can meet their candidates. The teacher election, my proposal would be to stagger the elections so that they are not all at the same time in terms of the teacher election, the certificate elections, and the parent election. So the teacher elections we can have from Monday, May 18th through Wednesday, May 20th. So that would give them 3 full days to vote. It would all be online, so they would not have to come in to do that. The parent elections could be from, well, even the meet and greet now, I guess we can't do that with the social distancing requirements, so it will all have to be by email and by other resources. The parent election can take place from Monday, May 24th through Wednesday, May 27th, and then the winning candidates will be announced at the May 28th board meeting and installed at that same meeting, and their terms will start July 1st, 2020. All the current candidates, or all the current incumbents, are eligible to run for another 3-year term if they so choose. So that would be my proposal, to start the application process tomorrow, the advertising and everything else tomorrow, give about a month until April 24th. The elections will be held May 18th through May 20th for the certificated staff to vote, and then from May 25th through May 27th for the parents and guardians to vote. As I mentioned, everything will be done online, so we will make sure to monitor that, and then we can announce the winning candidates at the May 28th meeting.
Mr. Chair, I have a comment.
Mr. Lever.
Daniel, when we seated Dr. Jeff Davis, I brought this up. I believe because he fulfilled a term, he has the ability to complete 2 full 3-year terms plus the fulfillment of his term. And I know we clarified that. I just want to make sure that that is still viable, and that is my my goal. If he chooses.
Right, right. Yeah, I did get confirmation from outside counsel that someone who fulfills or completes another term can run for 2 additional terms after that. So if
I wanted to
he,
make sure that was on the record. Thank you.
right.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Do I have any other questions? No? All right, so let's move on. We're now anything else while we're still here? Now we're going to go into a closed session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn to go into closed.
Well, we're not adjourning. We're going to suspend this meeting. It is 5:39. The board will now move to a closed session. We will be back on the same platform when the closed session is over. And as I said, the time is 5:39, so this meeting is suspended. We shall be back sometime this evening.
Just remind the people, remind our board members that are calling them to call that number.
Yeah. So Ms. Chen sent out a phone number that was another platform to call in a special meeting, as that meeting is a closed meeting. So
Is that different than what we're first going to do? If I'm not
No,
mistaken.
so it's another, so it's the same thing that we're doing now, just in a whole different link.
I understand that. I thought we had a link that included Mr. Chang, and then we had a link that doesn't include Mr. Chang. Am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, so no, I have the link. Yeah, I have the link for this next closed session. So Mr. Hussey and I will both be appearing for the initial portion of the closed meeting, and then we will both exit or get kicked out.
I don't, this is John Perez. I do not know if I have the problem.
Mr. Perez, I will send you another email with the link.
Okay.
So please check your email.
All right, I'm here. I will be waiting for you.
Okay. So
Now I got to find the link that you sent Daniel for the.
that was sent by Beatrice. It's not sent by Dan.
Yeah, I sent it out.
Now, or are we just going into closed session and then have a special?
No, this is going to be a closed meeting. Did I say special? Closed meeting.
Daniel, are we staying in this room for the first part of the closed session, or
No.
are we going somewhere else for the first part?
no, everyone is going to the other go-to meeting that Beatrice Chen sent out,
Including you.
including myself and Mr. Hussey for the first part. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the time now is 5:41. This meeting is suspended. Let's pick this up. Why don't we take a 10-minute break? That's all right for everybody to get back on board, and we'll see you at let's call it 5:50. 8 minutes. All right, thank you.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Yeah, we don't need that for the next part.